All right, all right. Welcome back to SharkNation, episode number 26. We've got Fu here with us today, Jason, and Fu. You're good friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Awesome. Like,
See, we're on the same page so well that we just kind of meet right in the middle with all our words. Yeah, Food's in my area. I think we connected a couple years ago. When you just got hooked up with us and EXP and stuff. And yeah, I mean your journey and your trajectory has just been so. Yeah, man, killing
yeah.
it.
Hopefully, this rough patch will pass by for everybody, and then we'll be on our way next year after election.
yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta say, talking to you before the show here, I think I haven't had, I don't know. It's just like, it's been a while since I've talked to an agent that was I don't know, just like, yeah, this is what it is. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. So you just were real and I don't know, kind of like humble with your success, but stating the reality now. So like, I like it. I like it. I'm excited for this. So talk to me about your journey. So like why get into real estate?
Well, I was the reason I got into real estate was because I was really sick and tired of the normal 9 to 5. So I was just sick of going to work, sitting there, doing the same exact thing over and over. Literally from like 9 o'clock to 7, 8 o'clock at night, from Monday through Saturday, and have no time to myself. And I mean, it's like summertime, and I can't even, take a trip if I wanted to. So
Right.
I was really getting sick of that. It's just like every day is like Groundhog Day, just repeats itself. And then, so I sitting there watching TV, and then I'm like watching these guys on HGTV, and I'm like, why, if they could do it, I think I could, so why not give it a shot? And then I started doing my research, and then I took the courses at NEPA Real Estate, and then I passed the course, and then I passed my tests, and then just took off from there. I mean, I didn't do much in my first 6 months of real estate, but I mean, like, who does, right?
Right.
Just
100%.
snacking on their career. But I never really gave up. I just, I knew that, this is what I want, because it'll give me like the free time that I need and flexibility. So then I just really started focusing on real estate, and then I took a big risk, and then I just quit my day job, and then just really went into real estate full time in the last 4 years.
So that first 6 months when you were getting started, it wasn't like you saw on HGTV where you just fucking open the door up and all of a sudden you get that little ticker on the bottom right saying, yeah, his commission's $250,000. Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, definitely not like how they portray it on TV, for sure. Yeah, you definitely have to put in the work. It's not like just show up, open the door, and go home and collect the check.
Yeah, I always tell like the team, I'm like, dude, you're not like Vanna White. Like, here's the kitchen. It's like no fucking shit.
It's like 10% of our time is actually spent like in the houses. It's like 80-90% is whether it's prospecting or dealing with deal problems, or like the HGTV portion is that like tip of the iceberg, right?
The 1%.
Yeah, no, and sometimes I meet people and they think like that's how my life is. I'm on like a $200,000 salary, and
yeah, that you work for Zillow or Realtor, and you just open doors for people, and it's like, okay, just get paid for that. This is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's like the opposite.
I want to circle back real quick. You were kind of talking about like that 9 to 5, struggle. Like I was in that when I first started. Not my second job. I had more working from home, and I kind of covered from like Chicago East. So I was able to work from home and kind of work remotely. But, I kind of feel you with like that boxed in, like caged in like vibe when I had my first like job and I was in a cubicle all day, all night, man. I'm like, man, this sucks. I got to figure out something else besides this because I can't sit still for 9 hours a day or whatever. Like the first time I ever went into work, I'm like, oh, I have to come in at 8, and then I don't even know when I had to leave and come in. It was like, I hate it.
Yeah, no, I hated it too. I felt like there's like just more to life than just clock in, clock out, and just because I worked many different jobs over the course of my life. So I did it all. Warehouse, office, construction, roofing. So I did it all, and it was just not for me. Not for me at all.
I did 2 roofs in my life, my first and my last. It was like the worst job I ever fucking had. I'm never doing another roof in my life. I literally had some things going on with the roof at one of my rental properties yesterday. I'm like, calling the guy. All right, go fix it, man. I am not going back up there.
That's one thing. I've done a lot of construction stuff, but I've never done roofing. So apparently, because I've heard that 100 times, I'm like, so I'll stay away. So. Yeah, no. So okay. So what I also picked up on too was, so you want to get out of the box, coming into this, doing it part time. The first 6 months, it sucks for everybody. It sucked for. I was just replaying that for an agent I was talking with prior to this, how I sold like no houses in the first 8 months. I think I sold like 4, and they were all under 50K. It was it was stuff nobody wanted to sell, and I heard you said you went full time. So did going full time real estate, like that leap of faith, were you generating some income in real estate prior, or did you just go, man, I got to make this work, and you went and made it happen? Like which way did that kind of go?
So my first couple of deals were just little minor pieces, like a plot of land. I think it was like for like 15,000. It was. And then I started making these couple little sales, and then it just kind of like gave me more motivation. And then I started picking up quite a lot of leads. And then I started picking up these leads, and they were all really like serious buyers. They were like ready to go. They, they're pre-approved, and they want to buy, and they want to buy now. So that kind of just gave me even more motivation to just like really go in here full force and just kind of like. Plus, I had a bit of funds saved up anyways from my job, so I didn't really feel like it would hurt me if I just hey, let's just quit this and try this, because you really.
I told my wife that too, because she, I had a good IT corporate job, and she's like, "You're gonna leave that for the unknown and uncertainty of real estate?" I'm like, "What's the worst that could happen? I go get another job, right?" It's like, I have marketable skills. I was like one of the top guys at the company. I could probably go right back there if I wanted to, but it's like, people think that like, oh well, you can never go back if it doesn't work out. It's like, hey, try it. If it doesn't work out, go back to what you were doing. But I think a lot of people don't realize, like, you don't have to be full-time right off the bat as a real estate agent. Anybody that tells you can't do it part-time to start and kind of get that income up, I think it is full shit. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you definitely need a backup plan starting out in real estate. I mean, like I wouldn't, for me, it was different because my situation was different, but for someone else, I mean, I don't recommend just straight up quitting unless you have enough reserves, or, unless you can actually come back to your job. Fortunately for me, my job was quite lenient. I was able to, come and go as I please. Really, if I needed to go show a house or go meet a client, they were nice enough to let me even come back. So that my situation was a little bit different for most people.
So you're starting out, things are a little bit rocky. When did you really kind of start hitting your stride and you want to kind of just fill everybody in, kind of like the success that you've been having, currently?
I'm sorry, Jason. Can you repeat that?
So, you said you kind of stumbled out of the blocks, right? First couple deals took a little bit while to get going, and then you kind of started hitting your stride. What would that look like as far as, how long did it take to you to finally realize, okay, I'm on to something here?
So 6 months I didn't do anything, and then I think about another 6 months after that was when I really started to take off, and I think I was closing probably like 3-4 deals a month after that. So then that's when I really was like, hey, I think I got something here, and I think this is for me. So I really just went all in. It's kind of like the poker table, just
Shoving chips. I love it.
yeah, yeah. I had a full house, so I was just like, you know what, I'm all in.
Mhm.
I like it. Well, I think one of the things I think, not to skip over there, is like, a lot of the problem with a lot of agents once they get licensed is, their first 6 months is a struggle, and then they just quit right when they're on the preface of, they got all their training and they got everything ready to go. The ball starts moving, they're starting to get some momentum, and then they quit right before it's going to happen.
Yeah, like I think most people, like, they have the misconception of that it's just going to be like a walk in the park. It's just get your license and you're on your way to making six figures, you know, right off the block.
Yeah, I think it's I was just talking about this with a team member, and then I've talked about like a lot of new agents I've trained recently. The training I took them through, you could just see it, and they've even some of them said it. Like, I never realized this is what real estate agents do. I never realized how much you do. I never realized how stressful this was, and realized how the crazy emotions you deal with, and I realized all the hats you wear. And we had a conversation with a new agent a couple days ago about he's like, really asking why we're worth it to a seller. He was new, and like I didn't know how to articulate his value, and me and another agent explained a lot of things, and he was just like, yeah, wow, I guess I'd never really knew how much value I see it, and like after going through the training. So my point to all this is, it's like that's where we have to do, I think, a better job as agents. It's hard to communicate simple things like, in a negotiation, certain little subtleties and nuances can cost you $5,000. Like, it's hard to explain that to people. It's hard to explain that when a seller is at the showing, it ruins the vibe and probably scares away maybe 25 to 30% of the buyers that may not have been scared away, because it's just a weird vibe and it doesn't feel welcoming. It's hard to explain that kind of stuff, but we have to get better at articulating that value to the sellers, and also the really real to the agents getting in, so they're not just smacked with like, oh, this is actually a lot. So I guess, like, with the clients you've had, what what do you find, how do you articulate your value to them? Like, what do you get them to see in you that makes you in demand for them?
Well, I'm I'm always one of the things, I guess you can say, what most of my client likes about me is, because I'm always there. There's clients that would call or text me in the middle of the night, and I'm always willing to answer their calls or texts, answer their questions in the middle of the night. be it, Saturday, Sunday. I'm always accessible. That's what I always pride myself on when, I'm meeting new clients. And I let them know that, hey, I'm always here. If you need me, I'm always here to help. And this is me.
That's a big one. I mean, I think it's the number one thing that sellers and buyers complain about is communication with their agent. It's
Because I mean, like, I've done some deals with agents where even for me, they don't even answer the emails or calls or texts. It's like very bad communication, and I don't think a lot of people like that. When I mean, me personally, I wouldn't. If I'm working with you, at least the least you can do is answer me.
yeah, yeah. I've yeah, it's funny because like I look at I've gone through a phase where I got really busy and was guilty. I was guilty of not answering as much as I used to and stuff like that. And what's funny is when I look back at my 10 years, I look at when I made more money, I was more responsive, and when I made less money or things fell apart, I was less responsive. Uh, so I can tell you from both sides of it that it's crucial. And that's super important. I think I think that if that's your superpower, I mean, I think something, because that's hard to articulate, right? Like, because anybody can say, "I'll be there for you all the time," you know. So I think it's like what you really got to do with that is you got to give them stories. You got to give them stories about how this person was stressed out at 10 at night and they gave me a call and we smoothed it out, and they didn't have that unclear head going to sleep, and it gave them one night's rest that they might not have gotten without me. Like, we've got to find ways to articulate that to people, because I know that agents bring value. I mean, there's stats to prove it. There's the for sale by owner stat versus the agents that, we got all these stats, but we have to find a better job articulating, I think, the really real of what helps people. And that's where something like, AI can't replace that. AI can't replace you easing somebody late at night or giving them clarity. And that's, it's huge. I'm just trying to, I mean, so, okay. So I think I understand where you're coming from. I see how you built this. I see you're real, you're humble, you're just straight up. 124 sales in 4 years is a lot. It's a lot as a solo agent. So like you said, leads, is that like, what's your superpower of getting them? Is it a paid source? Are you a good marketer? Are you just working the sphere? What's working for you?
Real quick before you guys touch on that, the first time I ever heard it was Dave Ramsey, but kind of how you were saying articulating things to people. Did you ever hear the feel, felt, found kind of analogy?
Heard of that, but
No.
bring me back to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're explaining things to people, it's like feel, felt, found. So I understand how that you feel this way. I felt that same way before, but what I found is ba 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 ba. So it's kind of a way to, so you acknowledge, the way they feel. You're on the same page with them, felt that same way before, but what you found is that it's not the way that they might be perceiving now or something like that. So feel, felt, found. But go ahead, yeah. Talk leads, Fu. I'm just I'm like a
It's okay. So I started out buying leads through Zillow, and I actually was spending quite a lot on Zillow. Actually, I think my monthly budget starting out was about $1,000 a month, and then I was also getting leads through Redfins. Um, that was paid at closing, but their fees was really super high. But I really didn't care, just as long as I was able to make the connection and get it to the closing table. I didn't really care what kind of fees they had. And then once I started getting quite a lot of deals under my belt, I actually was reached out through EXP, and they gave me a chance to enter this program through Chase with them through Chase Bank, and where they would give me leads through Chase, really good qualified leads through Chase Bank, and but that's that's pretty high fees too. But once again, I really it really doesn't matter to me. But these were all solid leads, so I didn't really care what the fees were. It's better than nothing, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think
Gotcha.
like I said, when you first get started, you're like, I'll take whatever I could get. I'll pay for it, this and that. And I talk to agents about a lot. Okay, you're paying for like these high referral splits, right? And it seems like a lot at first, but you also don't understand like the back end of that, where okay, Fu, you're my client or whatever, but then I do a good job. You're happy with me. You're going to refer all your sphere and all that kind of stuff to me. So it's like you're paying for that initial lead, but then you're also getting friends and family of the people that you're working with, and that's going to help you snowball your business quicker than it would if you trying to figure it out on your own. So I get where the purpose is with those companies, and there's a need for it. It's good for new agents starting out. Like I built my business doing the same thing, but then at a certain point, it's like, okay, as long as you're doing a good job, you should be getting repeat business, referrals from your clients, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you're right, because I do a lot of my leads now are pretty much organic or like by word of mouth and referrals from past clients or repeat clients. I one of my actually two of my clients are actually quite I'm pretty good friends with for the last couple years now, and there are just really just repeat clients over the past couple years.
That's doing it right. I mean, it's like Jason said. I mean, you're kind of well, and here's the thing. It's like so you have a sphere. Everybody has a sphere, and there's most of it, and you get into the business, and they might see that you're a real estate agent, but they know you just got into the business. Like most of them probably don't. Yeah, the real loyal ones, yeah, but most of them probably don't trust you with their business, right out the gate. But
Yeah.
you take Zillow leads, you take Redfin, you take EXP's program that's given, and what happens or what can happen is you share the story. Even if you just share like sold or I sold X amount in a year, what do they see? They see, wow, he's not only in real estate and he's valid. He or she's selling homes, right? So like that helps, like we don't see that. We don't, but like our sphere, when they see that you're valid, then more of them reach out to you, right? And then there's also the aspect of the people you close through those programs that you extend your sphere through them. So like, agents get mad when they're new, in the 6 months or year or so that their friends use somebody else. But like, I think a lot of times we just need to call it like we see it. And it's like, would your friend just got his pilot's license today. You gonna go fly on a plane with him?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. You want to be the first patient they operate on as a doctor?
No, I had that happen to me before, but I don't take it to heart, because I know I'm new, no experience, as opposed to these other agents that's been in the game for how X amount of years, 8 years, 9 years. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I think, Chad, when you're talking about that, I think what you're doing when you're posting like just closed or I sold this amount or I had this many transactions is you're building your brand, right? So it's brand awareness where, people are like, okay, yeah, Fu knows what he's doing, right? Fu's the man. He's selling a lot of houses. And then people can say, okay, now they see what you're doing. You're building up that trust naturally. And then when they're ready, then there's the buy-in, right?
And going back, like, so to be like, then I'll be super transparent with it. Like there was a year where we really post, like we posted every sale. We did like a number on each sale. We got like 100 and something, and people like were just like, wow, and that's really cool because you can just barrage people with sales. You can barrage people with 20 sales throughout the year, just sold on Facebook, and they're like, wow, you sell so much real estate. Or I shouldn't even say 20. You can do it with like 10, um, but now going back, that's good. I would do it differently. I would share the sold, but I would take every moment of value like every lesson, everything, and just share it. Like last night, I saved a deal because of this. You obviously have to keep private what you can, but like um, I watched an agent do this. Here it is. So they had posted. The lender told them that they could get there was the seller assist. The seller assist was gonna would it be too much seller assist? You know how there's like limits on what they can cover and stuff. And they said it wouldn't be, but it was, and there was an extra $1,200 the seller wouldn't be allowed to give the buyer and seller credit because they didn't have enough closing costs to justify that assist. Basically, the way that deal was structured. So the agent had them order a 2-year home warranty. Seller applied the credit to the 2-year home warranty. And I guess the home warranty was cancelable within 30 days. So I'm guessing that they canceled it and got a check back from that, which was super crafty. But when you share, like, look, I remember that. Like, when you share that, the whole, like, so going back, I absolutely think it's smart that you share your wins. But I think if you share the stories and the nuggets along the way, you can help back to my point of, and this wasn't the mean mission here, but like back to the point of articulating the value, you can communicate, like you can sell people without selling. If you just say, hey, I did this, it worked, it was cool, So going back, if I could do it again, I wouldn't just post it just sold. I would be posting tidbits of stories, value adds, things that I did to give them an experience of what it's working like with me before they work with me, right?
Yeah, that's a super crafty idea that agent did that.
I
know, I was floored with that. I was like, I'm going to use that.
Our home warranty people are going to be hating us, but find us interest. See you later.
Yeah, I'll definitely remember that move if I ever run into that.
That's the goal, right? Provide value. So that's good stuff. Well, cool. As we kind of roll down, I actually have a mastermind coming up here at noon. So as we roll this down, Phu, I guess where do you see yourself heading in real estate over the next couple of years? Like where's the next mission?
I think in the next couple years, I'm just gonna probably put this on like a really like just a part-time for me, because I have other plans and interests that I want to do. Plus, I want to be able to travel a little bit more. So I like to travel, man.
If you haven't followed Phu in his travel plans, I'm like, dude, I gotta tag along, man. He's like 30 days in like Thailand or where are you? Vietnam, Thailand?
Yeah, Vietnam. I was in Vietnam for the last I think last year I was there for like 6 months.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I gotta hang out with you, man. That sounds freaking awesome. I'm like, with our job where you can travel where you want, when you want, and kind of work from wherever, it's like, man, why aren't we taking more advantage of that? But yeah, I love it, man. That's great.
Yeah, because I have a couple people on my team right now, and so I think within the next couple years, I'm just gonna really push everything to them and let them work their magic, and then just really take a step back for myself and just kind of really only focus on organic leads from referrals or past clients, and then just really doing this as like a part-time, just because I'm venturing into other business, and then I want to be able to travel more because there's just so much to see. And once you leave this country and see the other side of the world, it's like it's a game changer.
Love it.
Fair. Very intrigued though. Yeah, I never had much of an interest in it. I don't know why. I don't know. Like I never had an interest in hiking, and all of a sudden I do. But yeah, I know I've been really looking at some places to go, and I'm such a rookie in that space, but I totally feel what you're saying there, and it's definitely a big part of our mission is to get to see some more places, because you're right. There's such a big world to see. this country alone is just a small aspect of that. So whether it's the food, the cultures, the values, just seeing the nature, the different stuff that's out there, it's a big deal. And that's what's, like Jason said, that's what's cool is you can, I mean, you look at how you're doing it, you're like, all right, I'm going to take my existing book of business, build a system and process a team around it, and kind of keep what's there and do what's important to you. And like, that's like, real estate's not who we are. It's what we do. You know, it's what we do to experience who we are. So that's awesome. I think that's super cool. Super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just saw that the Vikings are playing the Jets in London this year. So, hey, I'll meet you on the other side of the rock. Let's go.
There you go.
Are you actually going to take some time off?
Absolutely. My wife doesn't let me take time off. No, just kidding. All right, guys. Well, hey, Phu, definitely appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining the show. A lot of fun, like good nuggets in here for, agents starting out. Like I said, don't quit after that first initial 6 months, man, because you're right on the other preface of, hitting your stride.
You can travel the world like Phu.
I see a lot of people, they just, they come and go, and they, just one word of advice, just never give up. I was down, so, I just never gave up, and I just continue forward.
Nice.
Love it. I love it, man. Yeah. Thank you so much for contributing today. And we'll be talking soon.